Hey folks, welcome to another video in this series about using GitHub Copilot better to your benefit. The lessons that I've learned across the last couple of months, maybe even half a year, of how to get the most out of GitHub Copilot and get to a next level. Do check out all the other videos in this series because they can really help you get to a better understanding of GitHub Copilot, what it can do for you, and how you can use it to your benefit and get to the next level of basically enlightenment of what you can do with GitHub Copilot. And if you have lessons that worked really well for you, then please drop them in the comments. I can learn something from that as well. And maybe we can even add more videos around these kinds of things as well. Because I've learned that every time you talk about, hey, this is how I can get more out of Copilot, this works really well for me, then somebody else learns from that and vice versa as well. This is the seventh video that talks about, hey, watching more for all the hashtag commands that are available in Copilot chat. And the hashtag file and hashtag selection, for example, all those things are really your biggest, best friends that are in there. You can really use them to your benefit. What I mean with that is if you're using Copilot chat, and this is only available there, is you can be super descriptive and going in your prompts with saying, hey, I want you to use hashtag file and then give it a specific file handle in there as well. This is the step up from, hey, can you explain this code to me? Or, hey, the current thing that I have selected, can you help me with that? And instead of letting your IDE figure out, hey, with this, semantically, it means that the user wants to use the reference to the current selection, for example. That's usually the thing that takes preference over anything else. You can be now way more specific and give it hints. You can see that in the results I said hashtag file deploy infra and hashtag file create infra PowerShell file. You can see that those both are linked now as the reference. And the first one in the references, even in that list, is in here, states that, hey, we're using a couple of lines of code, probably the thing that I have selected. And this is still Copilot saying, or the editor, I should say, saying, this is where the cursor is, this is what the user has selected, this is probably the most important part. But now I can give more information saying include the entire content of the file if that is possible, but look for everything in this file as well. So let's quickly see what options you have while you're working with this. And I see that most people don't know about that. Going back to the editor, VS Code in this case, where I have, for example, something like, hey, we're logging something in here. I can invoke the chat and ask in the chat. I could do something simple like /explain, of course. /commands can definitely be very helpful as well. And those are usually a sort of a system prompt of, hey, explain this code to me. I'm a developer with this level of knowledge. That can be a shortcut. But what you usually see is that people say, explain this to me. And now you're relying on Copilot figuring out what you mean with this. Is it this selection? Is it this file? Is it this class? And it probably will give an answer in that direction as well. If you want to do more and get more out of it, and especially helpful, for example, if you're creating unit tests across multiple files, or you have different levels of interfaces that are talking to each other, now you can be very directive and add more information to the prompt as well. I think we talked in video 1 or 2 about giving Copilot certain sets of context. And instead of relying on that kind of context, which files do you have open, where is your cursor, you can now be very descriptive as well. So I could go in and you see me do this in every demo that I use of being very prescriptive, select the text that you want to do, and then I wouldn't say explain this, but I would say explain hashtag selection. And you can see that we have selection in here, we have terminal selection, so you can even do that with the things you have selected in your terminal. Hashtag codebase is relatively new, searches through the codebase and pulls out relevant things in there. I haven't even tested that one. And terminal last command. But if I go back, then you see that we have editor. That is everything that is open in your current editor. So if you have a piece of code open, instead of going in and selecting that, if you forgot that, then you can just say hashtag editor. And that will take into context all the open lines in your editor. Even for the demo, why not do that? Say editor, because that should not pick up only line 45 to 51, but picks up the line 32 to everything that I have in here. And then I can go further and say use hashtag file. Hashtag file works really well if you have multiple files open. So actually, let's open those files as well. I still have the selection open in this file. So if I now say hashtag file, I can just hit enter, and then on top will always be the list of currently open files. Those are the blue ones. And then I can go back in between it and pick up other ones from that as well, for example. So hashtag file is really something that I use very often. Hashtag selection, because I still have that knack of selecting the code that I want to do something with. Editor works really well. And then the terminal ones, we've seen those as well. So use these to your benefit. You can see that I said explain hashtag editor to me. It picks up 2 references, and I can only open that when the suggestions are actually completely done streaming in, of course. So let's wait just a sec for that. But that will show you that it uses both the currently selected code, because I have that in there, and hashtag file should be in there as well. All right, so I can scroll up and it says, hey, we're using the planes controller lines 45 to 51. That is what I currently have selected. So that is always injected into the prompt context of this is what we're talking about. But it also picks up hashtag editor, because I said explain hashtag editor to me. And that means we're picking up lines 31. So it even includes one line that I can't even see as a user and everything around that. So those are super powerful little tools that if you get used to that, and I mostly use hashtag selection, hashtag file, those can become your friends and really help you getting the most out of GitHub Copilot. So I'd say use that as much as possible. Hashtag file, hashtag selection, and hashtag editors. Those are the biggest ones. And then hashtag terminal selection can definitely help there as well. So with that, as I said, this is a video in a series of 9 right now. So if you want to learn more, maybe pick up 1 or 2 things that really make you go, I could do that as well. I haven't thought about that. Definitely check out the other videos in the series as well. And if you have spotted something that you think, hey, this is very helpful if other people know about it as well, please share that. I'm always ready to learn from the ideas that you have as well. I like to become a better Copilot user in that sense as well. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.